First things first, we're going to start with the open mic. First up, we have Devin. We're going to do something tonight in honor of Urban Legends, who our feature is the main coordinator of. We will put our fists up in the air before the poet arrives, and on the count of three, we'll all shout speak to give them encouragement, to raise their voice, spread their words, and we'll go from there. So first up, we have Devin this evening. On the count of 3, 2, 1.
Speak!
Hi. So my name's Devin, and I have a couple of poems that I'm going to, perform. And the first one is called I'm Not a Poet. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because poetry does not come naturally to me. I have to put my blood, sweat, and tears to write a piece, and just like in every other facet of my life, I hate the fact that I have to work for it. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because I'm unoriginal, inauthentic, and disingenuous. I don't think there's a single thought that crosses my mind that is not a fabrication of the society that I live in, the media, my acquaintances, my friends, and my family. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because I did not have to struggle to get to where I am today. I was born to an upper middle class family in a country laced with poverty, and had a supportive childhood until my dad became a diplomat and ended up here. My struggle is not real. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because on my regular sleepless nights, I sometimes wish for a tragedy. Sadness seems to be more interesting than this perpetual boredom that I'm stuck in. And more than anything else, tragedy sells. And I'm trying to sell myself here. I'm not a poet because I'm a fraud and I know it. But it's too good to throw it all away. Anyone would do the same. And I've got them going. And I'm careful not to show it. Sometimes I even fool myself a bit. It's like magic. I'm not a poet because I plagiarized the last two lines directly from my favorite Goche song. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because I'm all skin and no flesh. Before my ex and I started dating, when she was still my best friend, she told me that she loves it when artists break up because that is usually when they produce their best work. When she broke up with me to start a relationship with my best friend, she and I sat down beside the stinky dried up canal and laughed at how we should both be inspired now. Did I just call myself an artist? This is why I am not a poet. A hipster isn't a hipster as soon as they call themselves a hipster, right? I'm not a poet because I victimize myself. I'm not a poet because my parents work hard for their money and I blow it all away on alcohol and marijuana. I'm not a poet because in front of unassuming strangers, I spread my legs. I'm not a poet because maybe from their perspective, they see me spread my wings instead. I'm not a poet. I'm not a poet because, maybe I am a poet. Maybe that's all I have. Maybe that's all I am. What does it mean to be a poet anyway? So this second one is something I wrote last Sunday, and I haven't really performed in front of other people, so bear with me. Sorry, guys, if I suck at this. It's called Dissect Me. Dissect me like a frog in biology class. Find my softest and most vulnerable spots and master my insides. Locate where my lungs are, where my brain might be, and most importantly, find where my heart is. Everything you will observe in there is devoted to you. Embrace me. Embrace me like your best friend's cat you have to take care of during the first week when she's gone to Cuba. That millisecond of care would be a lifelong moment of warmth to me. Crack me open. Crack me open like an unborn chicken at a breakfast restaurant bought from some local farm. I hide behind this thick shell, and you're the only one I would open myself up for. But I do not have the courage to do so myself. Clip my wings like a Brazilian scarlet macaw and cage me in a tight space somewhere inside your heart. I would give up all my civil liberties just to roam around the depths of your soul and observe the hidden galaxies and nebulas and supernovas in there. Slaughter me like your companion camel while lost in a desert. I'm not a masochist, but I would sacrifice myself for your comfort and happiness at any given time. What is the point of my existence if it is not to serve you? Unsex me here, like the raven himself who is horse. Except just don't do that. And just kill me if you have to, like a mosquito on your skin, or a lobster at a hotel tank, or a fish stuck on a fish net, or a moose in a hunting range, or an elephant at a reserve, or a hamster at a lab, or a whale in the sea. I would gladly die at your hands if that is what you desire. But at least let those animals live, maybe, you know? Thank you.
Keep it going for Devin. Thank you very much. So we'll continue on with the open mic. Just a couple more housekeeping things. As you can see, there are some cameras around. For those of you performing, we are live streaming the event. I hope that's okay. If you have any issues with that, please let me know and we can plan accordingly. That being said, next up we have Emily. She'll be our last open mic performer of the evening. So on the count of 3, 2, 1, speak.
So this is not a new poem. I've done this one other time. I actually did it at Urban Legends Slam 2 weeks ago, where Apollo actually performed and killed it, as usual. So this poem is called I Want an Apology. I want an apology. I want it in short and shallow breath and tangled limbs, for it to bang down my door in the middle of the night, for it to pierce my skin and be burned into my senses like the memory of your body next to mine. I don't want it in words. No bullshit, I didn't mean it or I won't do it again. I hate to be the person that says it, but actions speak louder than words, and I'm much past the point of conversation, much past the words that had me thinking that maybe I was the missing piece, words that had me convinced that the rolling hills and valleys of this body were for 1 second more than the stretch marks, scars, and bruises that hold it, more than the double-digit number on the label of the inside of my jeans that haunt me every time I put them on, or the uneven tone of my stressed-out skin, past the proclamations that had me thinking that the wildness of my dreams had me thinking I was someone different, valid in the eyes of somebody that made me feel like for once I was home. And regardless that I knew that you weren't a permanent fucking address, how dare you set fire to the space I shared with you? How fucking dare you burn down the walls I let you paint your name on, set fire to the bed I fucking let you sleep in, set fire to a body that in your eyes should have been holy fucking ground. God damn it, how fucking dare you burn down something that doesn't belong to me? Tell me you regret it. Do you have any regret? Tell me you regret encouraging me to believe something that was always a lie. Make the remorse pierce me like sharp nails on skin. I don't want a fucking apology, and I want a fucking apology, and I won't be satisfied until it's written out letter by letter. I'm sorry, with your tongue between my thighs, until my heart feels like it used to, until my hands don't shake when I see you in public, and my voice doesn't break when I say your name. I want a fucking apology. I want you to be able to feel the lack of remorse I feel holding through my veins under the tips of your fingers, to feel how much regret I don't feel that I don't feel of the time you spent being a face in every crowd I'd ever been lost in. And even though you're not here, I'm still searching for your face like it could fucking save me. How I'll never forget how your hands fit into mine as if the universe had created them that way, separated only for the purpose of finding each other again one day. How now all of my favorite songs sound like your laugh, and that the inside of my eyelids are plastered with memories of you that I'll never have the chance to unsee. I want you to feel how sorry you should be for everything that wasn't supposed to fucking happen to me. And after all this shit that you did, I don't even want your apology. I just wanted you to choose me.
Keep it going for Emily. Thank you very much. So judges, the easy part of the evening is over. From here on out, you will be scoring the poets who perform. That being said, to let you get used to judging poetry, because it is a difficult task, we will be doing a sacrificial poet to get you guys calibrated, and you'll use that as a basis for the evening. that person will be me. So, yeah. Waiting on the heavens. Seems I've been stood up. Hell if I know. It's okay, I can drink more. I bet my toe tag will arrive before she does, but I guess that makes sense. A hopeless effort for this romantic soul dining alone, I suppose. I don't think she's gonna show. The light at the end of the tunnel is the candle I've been burning at both ends, a wicked feeling inside of my stomach like burning butterflies waving goodbye, so nervous it hurts. I have a heavy heart, so I try not to give it lightly, but Sisyphus is less of a myth and more of my reality when it seems routine to fall back down. Yes, another round, please, just me. No, she cannot be captured or comprehended, returning to my cycle that is endless, just me. But that's all I'll ever know. And you know you just came here to make yourself feel bad. It's like I've been searching for gold in sunken, bottled ships. It's a long swim for a broken neck, but it seems that's all you'll ever get. Bending over backwards for another soul can leave you without your own, standing with bare feet on a gravel street asking, how did I get here? Better yet, where did I start? When she was just a star in my eyes, but the sun is so goddamn bright. It burns me, myself, and I all the time because I can't take my eyes off of her. And this is just a stupid penciled love letter because it will and never will be returned to sender. Finally find the hippie for me. She leaves. That's when my lungs chime in to be a chimney again. Let the bartender know that I'm just smoking, but he knows I'm not going anywhere because she could be here any minute now. I'll wait. I'm patient. I'll wait till I'm patient with a bracelet, driving myself crazy, but at least the wheels are turning. Gears grinding, but face it, we never had enough time. Now our hands will never meet, just me, ocean full of fish at a loss for my angel. There's something about flying away. But I'm still here, and I made the reservation anyway. So yeah, guys, what did you think? Just looking at you guys with the whiteboards. Yeah, sorry, yeah. So 10, 15 seconds here. I'll fill the air for a little while. So yeah, what did everybody without a whiteboard think of it? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you. Up everybody, thank you. Yeah, okay, awesome. You as well, please. Okay, from low to high, we have a 7. Thank you. And then we have an 8, 9.7, and a 9.9. You get all that? Yeah, you're the scorekeeper, man. Oh, I guess so. But next time, get it all. Yeah. Right. Okay, with that being said, the slam has begun. Here we go. We have 8 performers this evening, and I'm going to leave it up to the audience to decide who goes first. 3 it is. Bizarre. On a count of 3, 2, 1.
First and foremost, I want to say it's so lovely to see all your faces. I'm really just stalling for time, so bear with me. I've only done this poem once before, 2 weeks ago, with the help of a lot of whiskey. And don't tell them where the whiskey is. And the liquid courage is finally worn off, so bear with me. Does anybody like jazz or ever gotten their heart broken? Both? Okay. Yeah, good luck. All right. You will never play my foolish heart like Bill Evans. Keys caressed with care, ebony and ivory played with perfect harmony. You will never play my foolish heart like Bill Evans. Crushed by a crush, burning with infatuation, feeling burned alive, I'd rather die 1,000 times than have you play my foolish heart like Bill Evans. I can't see me without you. I failed English class because of that. Your kisses feel like bruises, leaving mementos of your affection. See, we go together like jazz and heroin. And I must be the music, because you're a needle knee deep in my veins. You're also the reason I've got a foot in my mouth, and I'm so fucking embarrassed to admit it to myself more than I am to you. I'm in the center of this ambivalent tug of war, and I can't tell which side is going to save my insanity. I don't want to take much more of this repetition. I'm under an emotional hydraulic press, proving the heart is a muscle. I'll never dare love you enough to make myself vulnerable, unlike Bill Evans, who gave up everything just to die of a broken heart. Please, don't play my foolish heart like Bill Evans. Thank you.
Keep it going for Bizarre. All right. That was our first performer of the night. Everybody's feeling good? Yeah. Okay. So 3 excluded. Wait, we need the scores. Pardon me. This is actually my first time hosting. Thank you. So on a count of 5, is everybody ready? Scores up. All right. Your pen's down. We got more markers. From low to high, we have a 6.3. We have a 7.5, 7.5, an 8.5, and an 8.4. 7. That's a 7, Monica? It's too late. Your score's been dropped anyways, so. No, wait, it wasn't. Anyways, that's not important. The scores are not the point. The poetry is the point, as we always say. For a total score of... 23.4. That sounds reasonable, yeah? For a total score of 23.4, another round for Bizarre. All right, so again, 3 excluded, a number from 1 to 8. 4 was, I heard 4 first. Kudazai? Kudzai. Oh, sorry to butcher that there. On a count of 3, 2, 1.
All right. This is for all you guys who are trying, ever had like a situation where you're trying to get the attention of a crush? I smile. I wait for a while. This is my chance. All I need is one glance. Put on my best pants, go to a mirror to glance at my beard because I fear a hair is out of place. As I brace myself for the run in, but I'm so scared that my heart is running as I try to create fate. But the problem is I may be late or early. I barely know what to say. How's your day going? Knowing I can't screw this up. I got my bishop, my knight, my rook, just trying to get a look. That would be check, just by the rubber neck. So I wait and debate if I am on the right path, if I did the right math. Conversation, I must recite. Script, I must rewrite. If I play my cards right, I will be in the line of sight. So I wait, and also migrate to the perfect spot. I won't be sought. There will be no choice. Even if I have no voice, I will be seen. I even got all clean. And here is the time. But I stand there like a mime. I failed. I bailed on the plan. But at that moment, I was not a man. I thought I was a ghost. My plan was genius, I boast. I almost thought this was the time. But seems the cruel fate is mine. Because once again, I am past. Once again, I am past. In my mind, I run through the past. I run through the vast number of scenes, and yet what I've always seen is that I am never seen. There seems to be a screen that I can walk through since apparently I am a ghost too, wandering around, never making a sound, existing in the background, waiting for the day I am found.
Keep it going, keep it going. All right. Yeah, thank you. See, Okay. All right. So judges, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What did you think of the poem? Okay. From low to high, Kevin, we have a 6.9, 7.3, 7.4, 8.5, 8.3, and an 8.5. Again, points are not the points. Points are not the point. Poetry is the point. Keep it going. Yeah. I expect everyone to clap a lot. I don't know how to make jokes, so we're gonna clap a lot. Total score of 23 out of 30. Nice. All right. Keep it going. No, not. I'm gonna keep it going now. That's fine. Nobody has to clap until the next poem is over, or the next poet's walking up. Anyways, 2, 3, and 4 excluded. A number from 1 to 8. 6. Shook. Is Shook in the building? There he is. All the way to the stage. 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? It's nice to be at Carleton. Here you guys have a really excellent criminology program here. And I'm hoping that if there are some folks in here who think, who produce knowledge about prisons and prisoners, that perhaps I can influence you to incorporate this perspective into your analysis. Hashtag constructivist ontology, interpretivist epistemology. Just kidding. What is prison? I do not know, but I'll tell you what it isn't. It isn't life. It isn't living, nor more than existing, unless, of course, you're resisting. For somehow in that daily struggle to survive, you confront spiritual death and recognize you're alive. Heart beating and breathing still, feeling and thinking. Afraid of what? The ship sinking? It's already sunk. What's left is the man in the mirror you confront. So, what will it be? Are you happy to be another category, what they expect? Or would you rather have some self-respect? If you have a voice, you have a choice. And I'm not saying just making some noise, there's enough of that already. What I mean is use your head, see, and creativity. And even though you will face opposition, your opponents will be forced to respect a well-thought-out position. And yes, there will be haters. There always are. It's a sign of success, and it's kind of a test, and they matter the less the more you weather their storm and absolutely refusing to conform. So what can I do, you might ask? I say that's a good question. Start with that question and then search your heart. What seems to matter? Choose one thing and take action. Write something. Watch their reaction. If you can't type, that's all right. Use a pencil and pad. Store your thoughts somewhere. You'd be surprised how many you have. And if writing is not your thing, that's fine too. It's just one of the things that you can do. Pick up a book. Engage your mind. You'll be amazed what you will find. And you don't have to read to resist, but a little Karl Marx would sure assist in this struggle that we call class. We will regain consciousness as these days pass because we harbor unique knowledge, the kind they do not teach inside a college. It's experiential and so essential to those inside ivory towers, they call it empirical. Well, here in this medium, we call it lyrical, but I digress. The point is to refuse to be repressed by any sort of oppressive regime, and while they regress towards the mean, we must progress by any means possible, permitting that we've done our thinking to prevent ourselves from sinking to their level when resisting, but all the same. We must respect this game for what it is, for there are winners and there are losers. Failure to act today could mean tomorrow we are useless. So on this day when we collect our thoughts and pay respects to those who fought and fell victim to an unnatural death in an unnatural system that exploits people's breaths by keeping them caged and locked in a cell, solitary confinement, a literal hell, whatever the conditions of prison might be, it must be resisted, this PJD. And how do you resist something so inhuman? By being human.
Thank you very much. Keep it going. All right. So judges, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me just know what you think. All right. Still waiting on one judge. There's like a bag of markers somewhere. Okay. We're out of markers? What? Oh, darn. Judge, thank you. From low to high, we have an 8.7. a 9.1, 9.4, 9.5, and a 9.9. Yeah. All right. I can tell people are feeling good. We're on our way to the halfway point of the first round. So 3, 4, and 6 excluded, a number from 1 to 8. Before total score. 28. Total score of 28. Another round for Shuck. I heard 7. Sure. Sam. Is Sam in the building? There he is. Perfect. Let's give him a round all the way to the stage. Keep it going. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1.
How's it going? You guys have a choice, either a poem about depression or about love and ooey gooey shit, so. Damn it. So I spent most of my life building walls that are at least 20 feet tall, and I call it the Great Wall of yours truly. Not only that, I locked myself behind doors that are as big as vault doors with fingerprint, biometric, and iris scanners. But you managed to make it through that door, much like Kramer and Seinfeld. And every time you did that, you bring in a rainbow, some sunshine, and you even brought some butterflies that would find their way into the room where they would flutter there for a while. So you told me your name, and my brain told me, dude, just run away, so I ran into that same wall. Guess I'm cornered. So I shook your hand and I said, hey, I'm Sam, with a voice that was cracking pretty much what felt like beneath the ground that was beneath my feet. Now, I don't know if you found it creepy, the fact that I added you on Facebook 15 minutes later, but it took me 15 minutes to find you. So I opened my door and kept it unlocked, and hoping that you would walk in. But what you didn't know is that at the time, that this was the first time I open that vault, let alone open it and keep it open. But soon enough, you barged in through that door, and once again, you brought in a ray of sunshine. And I must have said something stupid, because you laughed, and your laugh may have disturbed the sound and silence, but it turned this sad song to the only thing that brought me joy. You had a smile that was so warm that it fast-forwarded global warming at an alarming rate to the point where you melted both ice caps that were forming on both poles of my bipolar heart. That's a mouthful. And soon enough, I gave you the key to go and come as you pleased. And whenever you'd walk back in, I pinched myself because I simply couldn't believe how awesome you were. My heart would go into overdrive. My lungs would start to hyperventilate whenever you're in a 3-mile radius. So time went by and I never asked you for your keys. But you felt some pressure. So we argued maybe for the first time, and I told you I don't need your keys. The fact that you have mine is enough for me. But apparently that wasn't enough for you. So you said you were leaving, and you slammed on the doors on your way out. Not only did you walk out with the keys, you slammed the doors so hard that you broke the locks. And now it's been a couple years since that happened. I still haven't changed those locks. But if for any reason your keys don't work, all you have to do is knock, because you must have forgotten the butterflies behind. Thank you.
Thank you for letting your walls down. I loved that poem. No? Yeah. Kevin and I live together, so I can always count on him to laugh at my jokes. That was enough banter, judges. Scores up on 3, 2, 1. All right, from low to high, we've got a 7.5. Higher, 7.8, 8.7, 8.8, and a 9.4. No, just a 9? That was from the last score? Just a 9. Sorry. For a total score of? 25.3. Another round for the poet. So, as I said, we're halfway through the first round. So now a number from 1 to 4. So next up we have Omar.
Legend has it that you would strive building and improving the quality of living for your children. You're a man who worked at a young age, labored with your late great-grandmother who outlived most of your relatives. Relatively speaking, the formula was evident. For how ironic of you to work in that environment as if it was some sort of prediction of what's to come to your position. The ingredients were set, concentrated. You would collect the fruits of your labor by struggling to solve life's mysterious equation after attending your school of hard knocks on a daily basis. A school of thought that taught you the ultimate hard-hitting lesson of being formulated, formatted, and fitted to not live a fit life filled with exquisite, prosperous blessings that only blossom significantly upon a deluded society so-called significant. It was written, for your rage and innocence to be tried and struggled with, perhaps a blessing in disguise. A trail of trials and tribulations teaching you patience, that same patience that made you endure for more than 20 years, that same patience you preached about for more than 20 years, that same patience that made you strike gold the mother lode when you met her. Fell in love with the Lebanese girl only several years younger. She hailed from the city while you were from the country. You were a soldier, a lieutenant, a part of a revolution, a part of the Palestinian liberation front. You see, all of this was occurring during the Lebanese civil war fought between Muslims and Christians while having another Middle Eastern crisis going on for it throughout the 1970s and 80s. You not only fought for your country, but you fought for her country, as well as fighting for her parents' approval. Since you were up to par in the financial department, then it happened. Both of you immigrated, surpassing constant poverty during your tenure at the refugee camp, struggling, surpassing living in a zinc-plated house with many siblings, surpassing living with the beast that had you bogged down and beat by the wilderness that came to be instilled within your spirit. Survival of the fittest, deliberate, hard-headed, learn true grit, wasn't given anything. Heck, Tarzan ain't got nothing on you. No silver platters, not even plastic plates. Had to settle with eating sandwiches during lunchtime at educational institutions that were financed by the UN. You would constantly obsess over being a refugee with broken dreams that were shattered even during conception. Lived your entire life sharp-witted to cope, an outcast like a shard of glass reflected by the masses as hazardous to a society that loved to critically castrate creativity. Wondering what's the point of dreaming macro if such dreams were to be diminished in the eyes of the micro, mentally diminutive. You see, these myopic men have limited vision on the bigger picture when it comes to seeking inner happiness. You were casually belittled by these so-called men until your kids came to appreciate the patience of the hell you had to go through. Now look at you. God bless you. Residing on a heaven on earth with your beloved significant other and your children. Some post-secondary graduates, some working, some married, and some writing. Writing a legacy that's worth writing. I guess it's safe to say that the fruits of the labor has come to fruition. Your harvested seeds grew to feed you ease after the hardships, your grizzly dried, wrinkled hands plucked from life's grounded composition, a purpose to live. So please accept this application of appreciation presented to you in the form of a piece of a poem blossomed from the heart, a dedication to you, Father, the true underdog under God, a legend. Thank you.
Keep it going for Omar. All right, judges, what did you think of this poem? 3, 2, 1, whiteboard's up. Whiteboard up. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.9. We have a 9.1. We have a 9.6. 9.6, and our first 10 of the evening. So a number from 1 to 3. 2. Larissa, you're up next. Round of applause. It's my first time, I said. Keep it going for
We were stardust once, breathed into life at the first moment that the singularity came to burst apart. By the soft sigh of the divine or the cold rules of chemistry, no matter how matter came to be, it came. It came in burning, came blazing, came full of velocity. This universe has always been in motion, gears on cogs on gears, and we came shooting through this beautiful machine, stardust. The hydrogen that kisses our carbon equidistant curled in on itself at that first moment of bursting. The iron in our blood was forged heavy in the heart of a red giant, 7.2 billion degrees Fahrenheit. To rewind time and follow my atoms back to conception would be to truly find my home. Not the cold prairie town that I was born in, not the blue attic bedroom, but the oblivion that I came from. Spent billions of years in, home. I'll be going there soon. On the 24-hour clock of Earth's time span, all of humanity thus far has lived and thrived and died in the last minute and 17 seconds. And this to say nothing of the timeline of the universe. Soon is relative. My life is the longest thing that I will ever do, but I'll be home before I know it. Stardust again, carbon seeping into the earth, which will one day itself blow away ashen on the solar wind. So, in the short time that we have, take a cue from the universe and be brilliant. Live in motion, live like an old soul, and burn in that sure, steady way, that inevitability that knows that there is no reversing entropy. Live like planets made of diamonds, like nebulas full of nubile young stars, like galaxies teeming with mysteries, hurtling through space towards meaning and discovery, cutting the darkness with fire and matter and essence and light. Live like that. Kiss that girl. Book that trip, take that stand, see the world, fall in love, speak, revolt, write poetry, run this clock out, injecting each second with joy and justice and goodness and grace, because we are all going home soon. Thank you.
Keep it going for Larissa. Judges, you've got 10 seconds as I raise the microphone back up. So on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. From low to high, we have a 9.7, a 9.7, a 9.9, a 10, and a self-proclaimed 11. So that's a 10, Kevin. Kevin, that's a Ken. Yeah. For a total score of 29.6 out of 30. Another round of applause, yeah. So here's a wonderful word that I was first taught at a poetry slam when I was 15 years old. We are on to our penultimate poet of the first round, which means second to last. Isn't that exciting? Here we go. I'm going to flip a coin for this one. I don't have a coin. A number from 1 to 2. Vicky, you're up next. Keep it going. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1.
The man on the curb, the man in the alley, the man at the bar, the man who misses family dinners, and the only time you'll see him is on the couch, swearing at the TV, watching the game. He smells cigarette fumes more than he smells the roses. The only happiness he feels is the high. He gets high more often than he feels his own happiness. His mouth is never morphed into anything more than a vague, drunken smirk. The only time you'll see his teeth is when he grits them in anger. He is so far back in his own world, he isn't able to hear the ones around him. His hands strain shackles bound to her wrists that don't belong there. She is light-skinned, but dark circles have begun to form under her eyes and in bruises under her clothing. Coiled around her neck, his hands fit perfectly, almost like he was made for her. Do his hands hide all her problem areas? She has none. She is one of many. Words have yet to be invented to describe her beauty. Her hair messy, in all different directions, in resemblance to Medusa. In a kind of mourning, messy way, she has looks that could kill, literally. She has a tendency to have her head held low when she walks. So if her eyes fall to the ground, she is only protecting you. She hides in shadows, undisturbed, alone while being surrounded by the world, alone in his shadow while he towers over her, his shadow casting an unremitting bypath, a remnant of the sinister alleyway. Still alone in her brightly lit support group, as he is again on the curb, prowling for his next unblemished subject, a predisposed coin tossed into the alleyway dumpster. The next day, she hears a car pull up outside. She thinks it is him, finally coming home after a while away. She runs to the door and prepares to greet him. She remembers that he is not coming home. He is never coming home. This isn't his home. This is no longer a home. This is no longer a reality she wishes to live in. A policeman steps out of a car, walks up the steps, makes his way towards her, and removes his hat, all while still staring at the ground.
Keep it going for Vicky. She was originally on the open mic, and my forceful hand convinced her to slam. So I think a second round of applause is in order for that. And judges, whiteboards up. From low to high, we have a 6.5. We have an 8. We have an 8.1. An 8.2 and an 8.5. Another round of applause. Again, as I was saying, the points are not the point, the poetry is the point. Poetry slams are kind of arbitrary. Like, I'm just happy everybody's here. Everybody's having a good time. They're listening, they're speaking. For a total score of 24.3. Thanks for listening, Kevin. All right, so we're on to our last poet of the first round. He knows who he is. Just before we get there, we're going to take a quick break afterwards, and then we'll be coming back for our feature. So that being said, next up we have Greg. A round of applause, please. And
3, 2, 1, speak! Hi. Let me hear you snap. Ah, that's good. Let me hear you snap. Very nice. Ooh. You know what night it is tonight? It's Friday night. Yeah. You know what happens on Friday nights? Anyone, please? I never have anything to do on Friday nights. Friday night, gotta look my best, prepare myself for a night without any rest. Gotta straighten my back and puff out my chest for a night I won't remember and never forget. I open the door for a night that'll never end. Then I realize, wait, I have no friends. Damn, but that's okay. I know how to have fun in the real way. Stay at home, have my own say. That's right, it's time for an introverted party. Not gonna communicate or validate others through conversation. Not gonna try to speak to people through their intoxication. I'll be stationed right here atop my bed. You go to your parties, I'll eat Smarties instead. Sitting here in my underwear, everything seems so clear, my mind pristine. Like an ocean, none of that other people commotion. I understand with pure clarity, like I got the mind of an elf. The best person to Netflix and chill with is yourself. It's an introverted party, it's about to go down. Me, myself, and I, and every first person pronoun are tearing up the place, and by that, I mean laying down, taking a nice nap, and waking up all alone. So come join me at my introverted party, provided you do so in groups of less than 3. Thanks.
All right, keep it going for Greg. Yeah. Thank you for making an exception to the rules and letting this many people to your party on a Friday night. Judges, scoreboard's up. 3, 2, 1. All right, from low to high, we have a 9. Greg got a 30. That's 4 10s. That is 4 10s across the board. Yeah, another round of applause. Perfect score. Have you tried our banana bread? It's really good. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and by 10 minutes, I mean 10 minutes. I know people like to smoke and drink and go do things on breaks, but like 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. After the break, we have Apollo the Child. He is, you'll hear more about him just before I introduce him. So 10-minute break, and then our feature will be ready. Try the banana. Thank you for socializing, everybody. I hope you had a good time. Talk to some poets, make new friends. So, without further ado, I'm going to welcome Apollo the Child. Khalifa is one half of the Poetic Elements. It's a hip-hop group in Ottawa. He's also a member of the Dead Ringer Arts Collective, which is the main collective of the Disclaimers group. They are releasing a song every Thursday for the rest of the year. That's impressive. He also hosts a show on CKCU just upstairs, the Home Invasion Show. He's the half of the directing facility for the Urban Legends Arts Collective. You can see their merch at the front. Only $20 for a t-shirt. $20. Give the man his money, or give him your money. Anyways, nevertheless, he's also been spitting for close to 10 years, which is crazy because you were like only a year or two in when I started, and like I met him at a youth slam. He was a youth once, like that was. Anyways, he's been on 4 national teams, and in 2016, his team came in 3rd at the national championship. So without further ado, we'll give a speak to Apollo the Child. 3, 2, 1. Speak!
Watches a fire's rage, my father. The man who was beaten and left an awful mess, a mix of blood and sweat and saliva as he wept. Lost and spent, the scorching hot desert sand became his bed as he lay there and silently prayed for the army's beatings to end, I wonder. Before his pages combusted, what flammable passions he unleashed, I wonder. Whether it contained a militaristic rhetoric or just a flowery speech of peace, I wonder. Just how it feels to be sent away from your family to forever give up on your passion. So to answer your question, Mr. Racist Officer, sir, you wanted to know where I'm from? Well, I hail from nowhere, and I speak its accent. See, they say home is where the heart is. Well, then where do I belong? Head first, I fall into a valley full of colorful souls. See, some days it's the same place where Dante journeyed. I walk and wonder, what circle of hell are we in? The other days it's the heavens Icarus tried to reach with his wings. Either way, I'm falling face first. I waste words to make her realize I'm here. My firefly, I'm here. But a moth is always attracted to light. I'm reeling, I'm lost in your light. Feeling these feelings, I fly through the night. Heal me, I'm needy, I pretend that I'm not. The only constant is the music spilling out my headphones. It rattles around my inner tubing. Do I exist in this valley or am I an illusion? This ain't blood spilling out my veins. It's musical notes, it crescendos. Bass delivering head blows. I taste the iron in my mouth, I let go and walk amongst the phantoms. I walk and realize that a moth is an underrated butterfly. But I'm so proud of my ugly beauty. But I'm still searching for my place in the valley. Found myself at the edge of the world. I was at the edge of a cliff. There's no real way to be sure. But I've been here before. With closed eyes and open sores, I look to the skies, but with the will over my eyes, I don't see much. I look at the moon, and I wax, and she wanes. And the music I listen to makes me feel like it's okay to have a damaged brain. I'm wasting my breath and words on a lost flock and herd, so I in turn waste Bruce Lee's proverbs and tell the sea to be like water. And I turn and ask Cinderella what's the size of her glass slipper. Because I think I have her foot in my mouth. Or maybe it was mine. It would explain the tripping. But yesterday was a black canvas, and tomorrow's for me to paint with tattoo stains. God bless the ink the needle gave. I'm standing at the edge of the world, and I didn't move. I watched the sun set and pull the moon, and I didn't move. I watched the sun rise back up with its rays, and I didn't move with no drink or food. I stood there confused, wondering how this world could be so fucking beautiful. And yet, it was so fucking cruel. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But I'm hoping I can learn. See, I'm trying to make some change. And they're quick to look me in my brown eyes and tell me, shit, you're insane. It's cold out there. And I'm inadequately dressed, I mean I never am, but it's hard to change out of my brown skin. Brown eyes don't mean I see the world in a brown tint, nah, no sepia tone. See, I'm trying to see color, but not the kind that secludes us. I mean, the sun is so beautifully yellow, and it shines brightly on all of us, yeah. Beautifully darkening all of our skin. It doesn't discriminate now. And I've been trying to make some change now. Alleviate some of the pain now. But that's hard to do when you hear the shots rang out. It's hard not to feel the pain when the cops go pop, 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 pop. With 2 shots, 4 shots, motherfucking 13 shots. Who shot who? There's no guns in our hands, now who shot who? See, I'm the son of immigrants. My father was a political poet, kicked out of the country for preaching for change. Yeah. Now welcome to North America, dealing with racism. I'm growing up, I'm a poet, now doing the same. It's funny how blood work. You can't see color in my blood work. And I'll continue being a force of good, so long as my blood work. Thank you. So I go by Apollo the Child, a.k.a. the brown Bruce Wayne with less bank, a.k.a. the brown Clark Kent with less strength, a.k.a. looking like a young Che, a.k.a. the great wise horned owl, a.k.a. young elder, a.k.a. little lucky, a.k.a. too many damn names, a.k.a. yes, I gave myself all of these names, a.k.a. yes, my real name's Khalifa, I am sometimes a whiz, own that shit, a.k.a. if I don't get to the next poem, Blue would probably kill me. Yeah. They actually do call me that. If you don't get to your next poem, Blue's probably gonna kill you. And I'm like, what? But when I do my sets, I don't really like to tell what the next poem's about. I feel like that's like spoiling a movie. But you know, you gotta have banter. And I'm like, yo, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Confessions. What? We'll start like small, and then like as it progresses, ooh, it's gonna be crazy. Shit will hit the fan, so to speak, because it's always a smelly mess when the shit hits the fan. So confession number 1, I called in sick to be here today. Yeah. Work thinks I'm puking. I'm not puking. Maybe words though, who knows? I think I'm funny. I sometimes am. I heard God sigh. She exhaled the last remaining air in her lungs, and she did it the same time you did. I resent you. We used to joke about being immortals. We used to joke about being Highlanders only with colored skin. Only I believed you. Only I find out miles away from home. Only it's the first I hear of your name. Only it's the first I hear of your name in 3 years. Only I smile with a. Let's start from the beginning. I got distracted. I was like, yo, I can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. I can totally roll up my sleeve in poetry. I totally could not. 2 tears, 1 eye. I heard God sigh. She exhaled the last remaining air in her lungs, and she did it the same time you did. I resent you. We used to joke about being immortal. We used to joke about being Highlanders only with colored skin. Only I believed you. Only I find out miles away from home. Only it's the first I hear of your name in 3 years. Only I lie with a painted smile. I say I'm fine. So you can't see pain through my coat of paint. Now you can't see pain through this coat of paint. And I learned that science proves that Superman should be black. I tell people he was. I tell people of you. I speak of your name. I speak of Dovey Henry. I speak of the being of pure flame, and I know of how Johnny stormed. But I also knew that he was a fantastic force. And so I speak of the being of pure flame and of the days when we used to sit and write until our skulls and skies lit on fire. So I gave you the name of Johnny Blaze. I gave you the name of Johnny Blaze, and Johnny was a good Superman, and it figures. It would only take a whole body of water to put out your body of flame, and I'm sorry it went down that way. You deserve better. You deserve better than having your body being found in the river. I'm so sorry it took me this long to speak of you. I'm just so tired of writing these eulogies. I spent days and days staring at an empty page, writing cliche after cliche, when the pen should have bled and gave lots of ink in honor of your name. We met in the 12th grade. We were polar opposites and yet the same. We used to plot a lot and talk about how we would take over this game. We promised we would be spoken word. We promised we would build a community using words. As young bucks, we promised we would be the future. And I'm doing all that we talked about, all that we planned for, all that you gave me confidence for. The one skinny, quiet, former Afro samurai is now leader of the show we started slamming at. I say that with pride. I took my art nationally. I say that with pride. You were my friend, and I say that with pride. And I'm too tired to cry, but I know you wouldn't want these tears anyway. We used to talk about death and what it means to be alive. It's when you told me you wanted an all-color funeral. I'm sorry I couldn't make it happen. Shit, I'm sorry I couldn't even make it. But what I can do is promise in honor of you that when it's my time to finally expire, I'll make sure that mine is vibrant. Rooster, you are my witness. Make sure it's an all-color funeral. And I don't condone necromancy. I just wish I could bring back Dovey Henry. I wish I could go back in time to when we realized we're both beings with big smiles and we would try to outgrin each other. And the laughing fits that ensued. I forgive you for arbitrary things like thinking Teen Titans Go was a good show. I forgive you for all the times you would aggravate me to the point of silence. So how can I not forgive you for not being immortal? We were just two comic heads. We were just two lovers of life and sci-fi. We were like brothers. And I promise I will heed what you used to teach. I promise I will live in the now. You were a king, and your dreadlocks were your crown. I hope you hear this poem up in heaven. I hope your mannerisms haven't changed. And I hope you still claim that you eat your toast upside down. Entum mitu gabne, wahna mut warakum. Entum mitu gabne, wahna mut warakum. Allah yarhamak. Thank you. I feel like I brought down the mood. Fucking poets. Emotions, no. That's what we do. I normally perform, I've been fortunate to perform a couple of times at People Nightclub, and normally what they'll do is they'll have spoken word and comedy on the same night. And I fucking love that shit, because I'm like, I can come in and be depressing as hell, and it's your job to make people laugh afterwards. So, yeah. That's not a confession. Here's a confession. I like to grow my nails, because like long nails are useful as shit, you know? If you got a scratch and sniff sticker, I feel like, you know, big nails will like maximize the scent, you know? Because, you know, scratch and sniffs are so super routine for me, apparently. But yeah, my friend Larissa's making me cut my nails lately, and I hate it, but, you know, gotta grow up, I guess. All right. I did. I actually, like, I realized I didn't cut my nails today, and I was gonna see her. So, like, I cut them with my fingers on the way to the bus, and, like, I was panicked and everything. Why do you do this to me, Larissa? Mama Galet, Khalifa, dir balak. I was 6 years old. Not quite living in government homes yet, but still in one we couldn't afford. Forget about toys. We only got them on Eid. The rest were the broken and discarded we found on playgrounds. My mother, the survivor. An angel in her gold gown, fluent in being illiterate in 2 languages, and yet in my eyes, it never affected the luster of her gold crown. She bought me never affected the luster of her gold crown. She bought me an action figure at a garage sale. I got it. It was Donatello. He was my favorite. The one that I always played with until it was stolen out my hands by 2 young men, and I cried. Mama, come save me, I cried. I couldn't fight them off, I cried. Mama saved me, though. She managed to get it back. We thought it was over. They followed us home. Mama pleaded, leave us alone, and they laughed, and they mocked. They mocked my mother's accent while throwing rocks. How can these evil people sleep well knowing they wounded both lioness and cub that day? 20 years later, and I still can't get that thought off my dome. Mama galet Khalifa dir balak min agarib. I'm 12 now. Fluent in the art of being a chameleon now. Used to being in large groups, but never making a sound. See, the brown kids thought I was whitewashed. I spoke grammar too well. However, the white establishment thought I needed ESL. Caught in between these 2 extremes, how can I be blamed for speaking English better than my native tongue? How can I be blamed for this flesh I wear? I didn't choose this costume. Shunned by my own and by the rest, and so I was contemplating biting off my own tongue to spite them. In a fit of defiance, I spent most of my young adult life crying. But men aren't supposed to cry, or so I'm told. بس ماما قالت خليفة دير بالك من عقارب يخربون بحياتك. I'm 24 now. See, I'm not afraid of my own voice now. See, I'm defiant and refusing to be hauled down. See, my mother's still a survivor, still an angel in her own right. Decided to walk home from the drugstore on her own one night. She was followed by a group of 4 snakes hissing in villainous tones, possibly afraid of my mother's godly height. They called her ISIS. They called her terrorist. I wonder still what my mama do to deserve this. A woman so powerful and yet still affected by the way their words hit. I cried in her arms that night. They say men aren't supposed to cry, but fuck that noise. I cried in her arms that night. At 24 years old, I cried in her arms that night. And I remember looking up at my mama and asking her how she could be so stoic and yet not shed a tear. وماما قالت خليفة دير بالك من عقارب يخربون بحياتك اسحقهم وانسى السالفة. And as an adult, I'm starting to realize that I can pull their words like serrated blades from out my skull and brains. They don't need to bleed no more. The words can no longer cause me pain no more. It don't need to carry weight no more. And I realized I didn't learn to speak the language of struggle, motherfucker. I was born into it. But no longer will I conform to it. My tongue moves freely, and every syllable is a war drum beating. And I am screaming, Mama ti galbi, Mama ti hayati. And I'll be repeating that phrase in my native tongue till the day I die. I know who I am now, and that can never be taken away from me. Thank you. I feel like I'm gonna strip a little more every time a poem is done. I don't promise nothing. I'm just getting hot and shit. And also, like, check this out. When, like, I'm done unbuttoning this shirt, it's like, ha! Urban Legends, buy my merch. Shameless? I don't even know the word. What are you talking about? Only $20. Yeah. And there's also stickers. Stickers, you know, my man Bizarre was like, how much are the stickers? I'm like, you know, $2 or like free. Only $2 or free or a high five, whatever. Like, I'm the best salesperson ever. Best. All right, confession. I used to kiss with my eyes open. I'm embarrassed about it, but it used to happen. I got my first kiss at 21, late bloomer. And at one point, she opened up her eyes and caught me with my eyes open. And it terrified the shit out of her. And she, like, it was like a bit of an intervention. She sat me down. She's like, yo, Khalifa, you know, I like you. You're really cool and everything, you know? And I was like, I guess. And then she's like, you know, if you tell me that, if you say so, maybe. And she was like to me, you know, but kissing with your eyes open, that's like something serial killers do, man. I kiss with my eyes closed ever since. Yeah. Speaking of which, I got new shit. Can you make me feel like I'm at home in Urban Legends a little bit? You know, at Urban Legends, anytime anyone's like, yo, I got a new poem, people yell out, new shit. So I got some new shit. Yeah. All right, let's get this shit open, blah. Maybe I should have said that my phone isn't the only thing that would light up when you would text. But instead, I stay silent and hold my breath because I learned to mourn the end of relationships like I do the dead. And I confess, when you first told me we needed to speak, I ate and took half a cheesecake to the face. I knew what was coming. Or maybe it was just my tendency to expect the worst, and I'm not bluffing. Besides, I've always been more used to breakups than I am at loving. At least this time, I caught a small glimpse of what it's like for a relationship to feel right. How can I resent you? No, I'm not angry. I may hurt, but it's only in the best of ways. I treasure the days we spent together, but it's still hard not to feel inadequate and unattractive. I am still a poet, I guess. But nonetheless, our last phone chat was bittersweet. We both admitted how we feel. We said we still loved one another. See, breakups don't have to equate to hatred. No, I'm not angry. How could I resent you? We were just two fools who fell in love. But love doesn't have to be romantic. You worry about my feelings. I tell you not to. I say, and I quote, worse things have happened to better people, end quote. I try my best to attempt to sound profound, but later I do admit that I stole that quote from a rap song. Yes, I hurt, but only in the best of ways. So this poem is dedicated to all the fools who still dare to fall in love. I promise I will not close myself off. See, I do not mourn the end of us, but the intimacy we shared, but I know that we will create new ground together. We're still the brown power duo, yo. Love don't need to be romantic. The respect I have for you is endless, and that will never go away, fade, or change. How could I resent you? The other love, all I have for you is love. How could I resent you? For wanting to explore yourself, I do not resent you, nor do I want to get in the way of your progression. The cruelest thing one can do to a bird is clip its wings, knowing they belong in the sky. You once told me what your name meant. You said it was butterfly. And just because it is so, it doesn't mean you need to be ensnared in my net. I promise I will remember all the little and big things, like how you got the scar on your forehead, or the way your family used to live, or I learned to mourn the end of relationships like I do the dead, except I acknowledge that this is no way to live. There's always exceptions to the rule. So this poem is for the fools who fell in love, to remind you to continue to spread this emotion so potent. And don't stop dancing. Don't you ever stop dancing, even if you only have 2 left shoes, just like me, because I can't dance for shit. All right, what am I gonna confess this time? My older brother moved out recently. Yeah, that sucks, you know. And we've been sharing a room ever since we were like kids. And then for a little while, like we're a big family. I'm second to 7 children. And at one point, there's too many of us, so we couldn't have a room. So we slept in the living room, but we shared a mattress, you know. And I am kind of afraid of the dark. And with him gone, it's even worse. So I sleep with the lights on. I can admit this. I'm 26, turning 27 next month, and I sleep with the lights on, and I'm afraid of the dark. I'm lifing really well. I cut my nails now. That's good, right? Right? Maybe. So I either got bad news or good news, depending on how you look at it, but this is my last poem. What? I know. Time is fleeting. It's so quick. What? 2 more? Okay, I got 2 more. Okay, cool. 8 more. I wish I had that, but I can't. Okay. So, you know, we heard a good breakup poem. Do you want to hear a bad breakup poem? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right. Oh, spoilers. I spoiled. Yep, it happened. But, you know, I feel like everybody's a little hypocritical, and I'm not an exception to no rule. Yeah, fuck that shit. Rules are meant to be broken. Maybe. Yeah. All right. I wrote her a letter, but I decided I wouldn't send it, even though I had penned it. It's still sitting there, pending. I decided I wouldn't send it because sometimes the story's better known for its ending. I tell myself, lick your wounds, boy. You may look back, but do not stop moving. Your feet are not a permanent part of the ground. Spread your wings and fly, Icarus style. You'll both be legends in your respective towns. So you may plummet, but when you hit that ground, make sure you hit that ground running. This old heart has been numbing and makes for a good pincushion, but I was the fool who thought he was cunning. Till you made me realize that I was nothing. That was nothing but a collection of my flaws and imperfections. It's a new year, but really I haven't been feeling very festive. See, the first time we met, you caught this old moth in your net and left me breathless. You decided you would hide from me, so we played this game of hide and seek. Ollie, the oxen are free, took my breath away, but I needed that last bit of breath to breathe. I suck and I wheeze, cottonmouth king, left trying to draw water out this dry well. Now I'd like to thank Heartbreak for consistently getting me out of my artistic dry spell. The sky fell. The day I lost my mind, but later I found it, holding my heart for hostage for being so impulsive, insulted because a little fucking prick ignored his logic. And we were well put together like broken glass. A mirror with cracks leaving a spiderweb semblance. And we were destined to be clandestine, but I deserved a little speech before the severance. See, putting a happy face at the end of a text does not make everything okay. Yeah, and I'll be repeating that phrase to my very last days till I'm gold and gray. But you left me out of my element. I was like a glass eater swallowing swords and swallowing swords and swallowing swords. At this point in my life, you'd swear I'd be well versed in the art of war. But this shit is real like Yom Kippur. And I've been punching knuckles till the wall gets sore. The lit in your pocket forgotten, wondering why I even bothered for. Maybe it's my po luck. You know, I roll with loaded dice, but I still get snake eyes when I bet. I fake pride, and I ain't even modest yet. The devil's been taking over, the angel on my shoulders, and God, she wept. It's been days since I slept, but I earned these raccoon rings, and I wear them with pride. Apollo the child is the saddest pantomime, far from a clown, yet I still wear a face full of pies. My cold breath hits the glass, leaving a pattern that resembles wailing spirits. I am not a waste of time. But when it comes to time, I can admit that I fear it. But the fact is, both luck and love aren't things you can practice. You just gotta let the past roll right past you. But when you fall, the ground will always be there to catch you. Just do not put your heart in the hands of just anyone who will have you. So I wrote her a letter. Decided I wouldn't send it. Even though I had penned it, it's still sitting there, pending. I decided I wouldn't send it because sometimes a story is better known for its ending. And that's it. All right, confession. You know, I have that one line where it's like, you know, my cold breath hits the glass, leaving a pattern that resembles wailing spirits. When her and I were together, I texted that to her. And I was like, yo, what do you think of these lines? She's like, I don't know, it's kind of pretentious. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right, I'll scrap it. And then we broke up. I was like, I'm going to show you pretentious, huh? All right, there it is. It's in the poem now. Why? All right, last poem. Last poem. And then you'll be like, good riddance. Maybe. Who knows? All right. I am not who I was yesterday. I close my eyes and feel the breeze. I let the winds of change wash over me. As my mind shelters spiders from storms, I can feel their relief. I am what they eat, and they are what I breathe. I feel the planet exhale. I wonder if tonight the maker of Mother Nature's writing her next tale, the next epic Iliad, all that's around me. It's astounding. As I try to move 2 spaces on this game board. As I try to add rainbows to my gray soul. But maybe I should let my old frame of mind die so I can fertilize my regrowth. Deceit sow the seed sown for the future me, the better me. The I won't put this off until tomorrow me, but this terriqueous life can be overslaw, but I'm learning. On how to be a salvo of positive emotions, I'm learning. On how to be a salvo of positive emotions, no, I know that I can be a salvo of positive emotions, and I have learned that closed eyes and closed minds lead to lost lives and lost sight, deals with the blind, leading the blind, and the king is the one with the best hearing. It's deceiving. Opportunities may lock its doors, but change is my key ring. And I've gotten adept at adapting, and my passion and flame is only as bright as my last fling. That's why I keep my hope and faith always everlasting as I try to build on what I have and rectify what I'm lacking. As I navigate through this pit of snakes, they are stagnant. They are moving. There's a reason they weren't given legs. And I give my thanks because I learned there's a lot you can do with a little bread, and I break it. Like my father breaks his back, I break it. As he slays for many days, I break it. As he slays for a shitty wage, I break it. As he slays for 16 hours a day, I break it. Because that's the man who raised me. It's amazing. That's the man who taught me to embrace the changing. He taught me that these chameleon scales suit me well. See, I'm not who I was yesterday. I am he who lets the winds of change tsunami the thick layer of dust and ash from his past. I am he who learned to let Iliad all that's around him. It's astounding. I am he who lets the winds of change tsunami the thick layers of dust and ash from his past. Fuck the past. Move forward and never look back. Always learn to adapt. And see, I choose to do so by sitting in a dark room and taking dance lessons from a lit match. Because like that, exhale, breathe. That's it. Last confession, and this one might blow your minds, but I'm awkward sometimes. You know, sometimes I feel like, I'm like Michael Cera. Other times I feel like I'm more like, I can be like more like Casanova, Serenova. Although most times I'm like fucking Michael Cera, let's be honest. I just got a bit of an ego and I want to make myself look cool. But that's it. Good night. Hey, we're all done. I love you like a cousin. Peace.
We're not done. We're not done. Khalifa's done. Unfortunately so. Another round of applause for Khalifa, please. So yeah, like, he's great. Like, I can't say too much about him. He speaks for himself. He's one of the hardest working people in the scene right now. He's keeping slam poetry alive in Ottawa, for sure. So with that being said, though, fuck the past. We're moving forward. Second round. All right, so a couple housekeeping things. We're not going to announce the total score this time. Makes Kevin's life easier. It also keeps the mystery alive and well. Who's going to win? We'll find out. That being said, the 5 contestants who will be in the second round in no particular order are Omar, Shook, Sam, Larissa, and Greg. So with that being said, a number from 1 to 5. Are all the judges here, better yet? All right. They are going to tally the numbers. They're just not going to announce them. Yeah. We will have a winner soon enough. So yeah, judges, you're still grading, and poets, you're still performing. A number from 1 to 5. All right, first up we have Greg. What's up? What? Yeah. What? The former, you can do decimals. You literally gave decimals in the first round, Monica. Okay, number 5. Greg is up on the count of 3, 2, 1.
We can do a funny one, or we can do a serious one. Funny one. Ah, okay. This one is it's on poets. It's a little mean, but I say it with love, so don't judge me, please. Okay. Dear poets, I love you, I really do, but there's a thing or two I want to say to you. Dear poets, why do you think you're too good for capitalization? You don't capitalize what should be capital I's. Is it just to capitalize on your capital lies? Dear poets, why do you write open letters to people who are never going to read them, like writing a letter called Dear Rich People and reading it off to a bunch of poor poets? I mean, I get what you're going for. It feels like a violation of privacy if you'd be reading a letter off to me. Dear poets, starting the same 2 words of your lines with the same 2 words every time is lazy writing. Dear poets, what are your metaphors so meta for? Most people outgrow being meta by the age of 14. And I don't want to sound mean, but when you're reading off your lines, you kind of sound like a machine. Why is your line delivery so monotone? You sound like the lady on my speakerphone. But at least when she says, please hang up and try your call again, she emphasizes the word again. Your wordplay is child's play. I've heard lines delivered better in a child's play. Maybe I'm just being harsh, like your voice on my ears. I mean, I admire that you're driven. Your voice drives me to tears. Maybe I'm just trying to make up for the fact that I don't really know what I'm saying. So keep trying, and I'll be over here praying that I can get something better out of people. I say this not because I'm angry or evil, but because I want the best out of you. So thank you.
Keep it going for Greg. Yeah. So judges, despite any confusion, you are still scoring from 1 to 10 to the first decimal place after the 0. And how would you say it? I don't know. Yeah, like you can, like a whole number and then 1 decimal. Yeah. All right, there we go. That's clear. Whiteboard's up in 3, 2, 1. From low to high, we have an 8.9. 8.5, I lied, an 8.5. Then we have an 8.9, a 9.1, a 9.4, and a 10 with a cat and a disco ball. Yeah. No total score this round. We're keeping it going. Number from 1 to 4. Shook, you're up next. The man's got a cat, so we'll keep him clapping all the way to the stage. He's got a long walk. All right, 3, 2, 1.
I was told not to apologize for poetry. I'm not going to apologize for this poem, but I do want to spend a couple moments, even though it's going to take me over the time, but fuck the time. It's more important to me that nobody gets hurt here tonight because of my words. And so I'm going to share a little disclaimer that this poem has some sharp words in it. If you allow me to see it through to completion, I think you'll get the message. So just be prepared. Thank you. It was written in solidarity with the Mohawks of Tandanaga, who shut down the railway line, demanding an inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women. Dad, where's our train? Those damn natives are at it again. They've blocked the tracks. Well, why have they done that? I don't know, but it's a waste of time. Those troublemakers think it will hurt the railway line, and the government will listen to their silly requests when it's their own fault that their lives are a mess. Well, what's their request, Dad? And why are they bad? It's not even a request, son. It's more a demand. They're pissed off because they think we stole their land, and now because a few of their mommies went missing, they think they can stand there by the tracks all day and just sing like that's going to bring them back. They're probably strung out somewhere, And that's a fact. And as for them being bad, I hate to say it, and I know it's sad, but look how they live. We give and we give. Money for houses, money for schools. Now look at the fools. All day lying together in a circle, beating a drum and hoping for a miracle. They want another inquiry, another report, more of our tax dollars, more days in court. I wish they'd just give up this fight. Face it, you're in Canada now. You're white. But Dad, wait. I think you're wrong. A friend of mine brought one of those drums to school and a song. I think he was Cree, and he sang to me and the rest of the class as we sat on the grass. And when he was done, we were talking. His mom went missing and no one was watching, and he doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just wanted to know why. Plus, after that, we were in the school. Our teacher showed us this film that was real cool, but it was also kind of sad. The way I saw it, the government was the one who was bad, not the natives. They were here first, and then explorers came with hunger and thirst, but the natives helped them survive and showed them care. And for the first while, the settlers seemed to be fair, but not knowing that these people would come back to haunt them, an agreement was made called to wampum. Yet before long, the promise to peacefully coexist was broken as more of them came across from the Atlantic Ocean. Time went by and settlers began to force their own nation, mostly through domination. I think they called this colonization, and eventually the place they called Turtle Island became Canada after much violence. Violence which hasn't stopped even until today, which is why I don't understand why you say what you say. What happened to these people was cruel. What if I was one of those children in residential school? And what if it was Mom who went missing? How would you feel if no one was looking? They shouldn't even have to be out on the tracks. But since they are, we should be with them. That's a fact.
Judges on 3, 2, 1. Whiteboards up. From low to high, we have an 8.8, an 8.9, a 9, a 10, and a 10. Thank you. We've got 3 names left now. We've got a number from 1 to 3. 1 to 3, anybody? 3 it is. Larissa, you're up next. All right, another round of applause for Larissa. Fists up in the air. 3, 2, 1.
This stranger, his lustful touches unwelcome, razor blade fingers leaving red crisscross train tracks up and down my thighs. I respond as I was taught to, with panic that rises in my throat like anaphylaxis, like asphyxiation, like bile. It is sickeningly visceral. I always respond as I was taught to, like a nice girl with anything but no. But when I suffer hands that prick like snake bites, when he is vulture scavenging pieces of me, when he stalks heavy-footed jungle cat predator, I should not be a nice girl. I should be animal control. When did I learn to be polite instead of powerful? Why are the words stop and don't missing from my vocabulary? When did my body become worth less to me than his ego? This is the price women pay to occupy the spaces men have claimed as their own. The risk we take for having the audacity to smell like estrogen and earth after rain, the burden we carry within our wombs, on the gentle curves of our backs and breasts. It's time to unlearn, to stop internalizing magazine misogyny, to stop laughing along with rape jokes to seem like one of the guys, to stop asking about outfits and alcohol as if assault were the fault of anyone but the person who decided to commit it, to stop saying, I'm not like other girls, as if other women are something unseemly to identify with. So this is the beginning of my uneducation, where the syllabus reads, "Fuck this 101," where women learn to fight alongside each other instead of with each other, where we learn to recognize kindness and follow its lead, where we learn to root our courage deep into the ground, unleash the fire in our bellies, and shout, "This is mine." If you think I'm too angry, when my body is a spectator sport, mute merchandise, public property, I am not angry enough.
For Larissa. Judges, what did you think of that poem? All right, from low to high, we have an 8. That's what I like to hear. A 9.2, a 10, and a self-proclaimed 15. It's 3 10s, Kevin. Keep it going. We're on to our penultimate poet of the evening. Joseph, flip a coin. I locked the cash box. Did I? All right, 1 or 2. 1 or 2. 2. Sam, you're up next. All right, keep it going for Sam. All the way to the stage. The man's up the back.
My ego's through the roof, by the way. Do my worries matter? Or is it simply I get to say what I'm going through just because I'm supplied with a stage and a mic? Does that allow me just to speak my mind? I mean, why do I do this? I expose who I really am, and it's beyond the feeling of being naked. I step into the spotlight to shed light on the backstage of my life. Sometimes I'll laugh, sometimes I'll cry, but tell me, are you satisfied with my linguistic acrobatic stunts, even if I don't always land on my feet? Because the ground underneath feels shaky. If my life's a circus, I'm a clown that can't fucking juggle. I mean, I led a life shielding my own thoughts, and now I speak about them in front of a crowd. I don't know anything about you, yet you get to see the most intimate parts of me. Because my poetry is filled with my own insecurities, so why do I do this? Sometimes I don't even know. Maybe I'm a masochist, addicted to the thrill of feeling the pain all over again. All these bottled thoughts need to get out, so I rhyme. Maybe spoken word is just a platform I use as an excuse to vent out and talk about what I'm going through. Or maybe just to inspire you not to do the same fucked up shit that I did. Sometimes I'll joke around, and other times I'll let rage take center stage and yell into a mic, so tell me, are you satisfied with my linguistic acrobatic stunts? Does this stage add any validation to whatever I'm trying to say? Because I chose to make a highlight reel of what I feel behind closed doors. Thank you.
Keep it going for Sam, our penultimate poet of the evening. Yeah. Judges, you're almost done. This is the second to last time you'll have to do this. 1 more to go. So 3, 2, 1. Let's see those whiteboards. From low to high, I have 7.5, 7.7, 8.4, 8.4, and a 9.2. Another round for the poetry, not the points. So we're down to our last performer. He knows who he is. Next up, we have Omar.
A new piece, so. I hate labels. Not a hipster, but quite hip at hopping around, reinventing myself just because of the mood. A hot topic, so to speak. No vanity, just sanity. You see, this, that Middle Eastern Muslim emo poetry with a sense of self-awareness and consciousness. How awkward it is to spill the beans when the meaty subject wasn't even served on a cold dish yet. This, that bully kid poetry. A kid that got picked on because of a physical incapacity and structure. A kid that was never appreciated because of a social anxiety, ingenuity, or congruency of a subject matter to people that matter, or did they matter? This, that old school poetry from 2010 when teenage girls were site models on MySpace craving chemical, romance, writing 1,000 ways to dye their hair. Serial poets in the morning. They're great after singing merry melodies. Not silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. This is Tiny Toons, so you better tune in before it's too late to save tiny teens slitting wrists and drinking bleach because of a cyber reality. Caught in the web of judgmental people constantly commentating whether or not their photos are Photoshop worthy to the market. This is a vivid vision, full of wisdom. No mental waste and sound pollution. No thoughts, ideas, and concepts recycled in an existential inquisition of particulars. I wonder what would happen if nature eviscerated man-made constructive criticism that is potentially obstructive to a person's confidence based on manual instructions in the midst of a nihilistic environment. Translation: our imperfect selves exposed, nothing to hide from, adopting naked nothingness as a reality. If we had the chance to embrace each other, forget and forgive everything around us in the middle of nowhere, ironically, somehow we would attempt to attain perfection, and that's the problem. Competition melded with ambition, convoluted, restitution, ambiguous to ourselves. Satan himself was cast out because he put on the front to God, acting up as if he's the superior being. Joke's on him, though. His stuck-up attitude got him stuck in his wicked ways, earning him the lead role to his downfall. So let's forget about ego for once. Let's abandon tackling who's better than who for once. No vanity, just sanity. Pure self-consciousness. Like a lonely person living his life as if he were forgotten, because loneliness creates a fantasy-based metaphysical reality that is void from corporate shells left by verbal shots from society. A society with just a juxtapositional injustice from court gestures and how to dress, how to look, how to write, and how to be. Acting a fool. Play-Doh molded by the ones who play with dough. A vessel void of a sole purpose. They say we need to be pushed back several steps before launching like an arrow, but I say, psh, now that's comical, because we got issues. I say, don't observe the panels when aiming for goals. Let your vision go tunnel. Read between the lines, but don't judge a Facebook by a cover, because now's the time to realize through the reason and rhyme that all we need is an absolution. No vanity BS, just sanity in its purest eloquence and a better understanding of what we do. Thank you.
Keep it going for Omar, our ultimate poet of the night, so to speak. Thank you very much for coming, everyone, first and foremost. This has been a wonderful turnout for our last show. It's very heartwarming to see. One thing I haven't mentioned all night, and I don't know why, but the winner of the poetry show gets this money from my wallet. Very exciting, very exciting. This is $50, Joe. Only 50. Nevertheless, again, thank you very much for coming, everyone. Thank you to Khalifa. He's been nothing but wonderful. He has merch. Don't forget, that is only $20. So, without further ado, whiteboards up, judges, please. From low to high, we have a 7.8, 9.4, 9.5, a 10, and another 10. Pardon my forgetfulness there. Did I mention this was my first time hosting? Does anyone have any upcoming shows, any announcements, anything you'd like to plug? The floor is yours. You can come up here, you can shout from where you are, whatever you would like to do.
Hey folks, one more time for the awesome hosts and all the poets. So I've got a show coming up Saturday, March 25th at 4:30. I'll be co-hosting with a really awesome poet, named Amy Eliza. So it's part of Verse Fest, which is an international poetry festival. It's starting March 20th and it's going to that Sunday, so the 26th. And Urban Legends has a show on the 21st, Tuesday night, the opening night of the festival, and I'll be hosting the show on the Saturday, the 25th at 4:30. There's 2 national champions that'll be coming up from Guelph, Truth Is and Beth Ann Ellipsis. You can Google search them if you want. They're extremely awesome spoken word poets. Another poet named Louise Nathalie Boucher, or Lunat. She's the semi-finalist from the championship in Lettres. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And of course, there's one more poet from Ottawa. Maybe you're already familiar with her. Her name is Braa Arar. She's also a champion. So it's going to be an afternoon of champions. I hope you can join us. If you have any questions, please let me know. The show's going to be $10 at the door. But if you want to volunteer with the festival for at least 2 shows, you get a full festival pass. So a whole week of poetry, all different kinds of styles and genres. And I mean, just with the Urban Legend show and the show on Saturday, March 25th at 4:30 p.m. is totally worth it. Thank you.
Hi, I have a show also. It's called Don't See the Show. It's in Fringe Festival. It's like a comedy. I have some shitty business cards that I like tore out of my journal and wrote my Facebook page on. So if you want to ask me about it, I'll happily give you one. And I mean, I'm not going to talk to you about it, so you're going to have to come to me. But like, if you like any of my stuff, then please. It's called Don't See the Show. It's in the summer. Thank you.
What up? It's me again. Hey, hi, how we doing? We're good. Hey, thank you. I just got my hair braided. Yeah, it's good service. So I do direct Urban Legends, the Urban Legends Poetry Collective. We do lots of stuff within the city. We do host a slam as well, but we also do showcases. We have a youth program. We have an art circle that we do. So if any of that interests you, or if you just want to stay connected, hit me up. I do got business cards with like all sorts of wonderful information on it. Just come and say hi and stuff. So goodbye and stuff.
All right. Without any further ado, drum roll, please. In 3rd place, we have Omar. Round of applause for Omar. In 2nd place, we have Greg. And the loudest drum roll of the evening, please and thank you. In 1st place, we have none other than Larissa. So thank you very much to everyone for coming out. I can't stress it enough. This has been wonderful. I've had a wonderful evening. We have the space till 10 o'clock, so we don't need to rush right out. Talk to a poet, buy some merch, make a friend. Banana bread is still there. What? It's a coffee shop, Joe. Anyways, thank you so much for coming out. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.